Assalamu alaikum. Peace and blessings be upon you all. I'm Asima Ansari, your maths teacher. Today, let's begin with part 2 of our lesson, Unit 6 More Division. Dear students, in this Unit 6 More Division part 2, I'm going to teach you the concepts dividing 3-digit numbers and zeros in quotient. After teaching these concepts, students will be able to divide 3-digit numbers using long division. Students will be able to solve division questions having zeros in quotient. Dear students, let's start the 3-digit division using long division method. So here we have a number 376 to be divided by 2. Let's write it in the long form. It will be 2 outside and 376 inside, which is the dividend inside and divisor 2 outside. So let's write the steps of long division, that is daddy, mummy, sister, brother. So the first step is to divide. Here we will start dividing with the highest number, highest digit, which is the hundreds place digit. Here it is 3. So 3 is to be divided by 2. So let's write the table of 2 and check out which will be the just right number. So 2 zeros are 0, 2 ones are 2, 2 twos are 4. We can see that 2 twos are 4 is too big. We cannot go, it has to be either equal to 3 or less than 3. So 4 is bigger, so we cannot take. So 2 zeros are 0 is too small. So what will be the just right number? 2 ones are 2. So we have to take one group of 2. So that one we will be writing on top of the 3. So the next step is to multiply. We will multiply 2 ones are, we get a 2. Then the next step is to subtract. So when we subtract 3 minus 2, we will be getting a 1. That's quite easy. The next step after subtraction is to bring down. What is the next number to bring down? It is a 7. So we need to bring down 7. So when we bring down 7, the new number becomes 17. The new number becomes 17. So we have to repeat all the steps over again. So we start with divide. So we need to divide that 17 with 2. Again, we will write the table of 2, which is somewhat near to this number 17. So we have written it. So 2 sevens are 14, 2 eights are 16, 2 nines are 18. So if we go for 2 sevens are 14, it is too small. If we go for 2 nines are 18, it is too big. So what will be the just right number? It is 2 eights are 16. So we will go for 8 groups of 2, and that 8 we will write on top of 7 over here. So the next step is to multiply. Now we have to multiply this 2 with 8, so we get a 16. So let's write that 16 under 17, and then we need to subtract. So what do we get after subtraction? It's 1. Then the next step is to bring down. Next step is to bring down. So we bring down the 6, which is the next number. This is the extra step which we are taking to bring down. In 2-digit division, we didn't have a third place, so we stop it after 2 steps. Now we have to take one more step, that's the third step. So we got the new number as 16. Now this 16 is to be divided. That means we have to repeat the steps all over again. So 16 is to be divided by 2. So again we will write the table of 2. 2 sevens are 14, 2 eights are 16, 2 nines are 18. 2 nines are 18 is too big, 2 sevens are 14 is too small. Just right number is 2 eights are 16. We got exactly the same number. So we can make 8 groups. So that 8 will be going on top of 6. Let's write it on top of 6, and then we will multiply. So 2 eights are 16, done. Then the next step is to subtract. Now we get a 0 after subtraction. Is there any more number to bring down? No. No more number to bring down. So nothing left. So we are done. Dear students, let's practice some more question of zeros in quotient. The question given here is 645 to be divided by 6. So let's do this in a long way, showing all the steps in detail. So we have this 645 to be divided by 6, 645, which is the dividend inside and the 6 divisor outside. So what are the steps of problem solving? Daddy, mommy, sister, brother. So divide is what we have to do first. So which number we will be dividing? The highest place digit. Here is the hundreds place digit, so it is 6. So we will be dividing this 6 by 6 as the divisor is 6. So we will write the table now. 6 zeros are 0, 6 ones are 6, 6 twos are 12. We can see that 6 twos are 12 is too big and 6 zeros are 0 is too small. So the just right number is 6 ones are 6. So we can make one group of 6. So we will write that one on top of 6. So the next step is to multiply. Now multiply this 6 into 1. 6 ones are 6 we will get. Then the next step is to subtract. 6 minus 6 will give us a 0. And then the next step after subtraction is bring down. So we will bring down the next number. What is the next number? Here the next number is 4. So we will bring down the 4. So the new number becomes 4. The new number becomes 4, which we can see is clearly smaller than the divisor 6. So we have to divide this new number, which is 4, with 6. So we can't even make one group of 6 because it's too small. So what can we do? 6 zeros are 0, 6 ones are 6, 6 ones are 6 becomes too big. We cannot take it and we have to go for 6 zeros are 0. We can't make even one group, so we will be putting that 0 on top of 4 here. We will be putting that 0 on top of 4 here. So then we will go for the multiplication step. 6 zeros are, it will be 0. We'll write it under 4. Then the next step is to subtract. So we will subtract this 4 from 0. It will give us a 4 only. So the next step after subtraction is naturally bring down step. So we'll bring down the next number. What is the next number to bring down? It is 5. So we have to bring down this 5. We have to bring down this 5. Now the new number becomes 45. Now this 45 is to be divided by 6. So we will be having the have to repeat the steps now. So we will be going for the first step, divide. So we will check the table of 6 now. 6 6 are 36, 6 7 are 42, 6 8 are 48. We can see that 48 is becoming too big and 36 will be too small. So what will be the just right number? 6 sevens are 42. So we can make 7 groups. That 7 will go on top and then we will be multiplying. So 6 sevens are 42. We'll write under 45 here. Under 45 we have written 6 sevens are 42. Next steps to subtract. 45 minus 42 will be 3. We'll write that 3. Now we will check. We have to go for the next step. That's the bring down step. Is there anything else to bring down? There is nothing to bring down. So we stop. So our quotient will be 107 and the remainder will be 3. Now this is the long way of doing, but there is a short way of doing also. Let's see in the next slide the short way of doing it. Dear students, let's start doing the same question, that is 645 to be divided by 6 in the short way. So the steps of long division, daddy, mummy, sister, brother, and here we have to divide the highest digit, which is the hundreds place digit, which is 6 here, and 6 is to be divided by 6. So the first step it will be 6 to be divided by 6. So we can clearly see that 6 twos are 12 will become too big, so we cannot take it. So we have to go for 6 ones are 6. So only one group of 6 we will be getting. That one we will be writing on top of 6. So the next step is to multiply. 6 to be multiplied by 1 will give us 6. Then the next step is to subtract. 6 minus 6 will give us a 0. Now till here it is the same as in a long way. So now we have to bring down the next number, that is 4. So when we bring down this 4, we can see that this 4 is very much smaller than the divisor 6. The 4 dividend is very much smaller than the divisor 6, and we have to only go for 0 times, because we cannot even make one group of 6 with this 4. So we have to go for 0 times. So 0 we have to write on top of 4. Then we will leave out that whole steps. What were the steps? The next is to multiply. No, 6 zeros are 0, we will be writing. Then 4 minus 0 will be 4. Again the answer will be 4. So what's the use of having those steps? We'll just stop here, and then we will just bring down the next number, which is 5. So just bring down the next number 5. And now what happens, the new number becomes 45. So we have to start the steps overall again from daddy. So we have to divide this 45 with 6. Now we will check in the table. So we have the 6 8s are 48, which will be too big because the required number is 45, and this 6 6 36 will be too small. So the just right number will be 6 7s are 42. So we'll take that 7 and write it on top of 5. Then we will be multiplying 6 7s are 42. Then the next step is to subtract. After subtracting, we get the answer as 3. So is there any more number to bring down? No number to bring down. So we are done. So our quotient is 107 and our remainder is 3, like before. But here we have taken less number of steps. Instead of 4 steps, we have ended up with the 3 steps only. So my children, this is the shortcut and this is very easy, and we will do some more questions in the shortcut as well as in long way, so that we understand the difference. And let us practice the short way, because it is less spacious, it takes less space, and it is quite easy. It just needs your practice. Dear children, let's try to solve this question. 592 divided by 8, both in the long form and in the short form, side by side. So let's begin. Now I have this 5, which is to be divided by 8. We have 592. We begin with the highest place. Here highest place is the hundredths place. So at the hundredth place we have 5. So now imagine that you have 5 apples and you want to put it in group of 8. Is it possible? No. So we have to go for 0 times, isn't it? So this will be divided 0 times. So we will write 0 on top of 5. Okay. Then the next step is to multiply. So we will multiply this 8 times 0 will give us a 0, right? So then next step is to subtract. So we need to subtract this. 5 minus 0 is 5. Correct, my children? So now after that we will be checking, is this 5 smaller than the divisor? Yes, it is smaller than the divisor. Then we will move ahead and bring down the next number, that is the 9. So now I suppose that 59 apples are there and you want to put it in a groups of 8. Yes, we can put, this number is quite bigger and we can make the groups. So how many times it will be? Now the most nearest will be 8 sevens are 56. Now if we go for 8 eights are, it will be 64, which will be quite bigger, isn't it? So we have to go for the just right number, which is the 56. So now 9 minus 6 will be 3, correct? So now again we need to check, is this 3 smaller than 8? Yes, it is smaller. So then comes the next step, that is to bring down. So this 2 has to be brought down. Now 32 is to be divided by 8. Now in 8 table, when 32, 8 ones are 8, 8 twos are 16, 8 threes are 24, 8 fours are 32. Oh, exactly, we are getting 4 times. So we will go for 4. So 8 to be multiplied by 4 will give us 32. We'll write under 32. The next step is to subtract. Now we get a 0. So it is done. Now how to do it in the short form? We have a 5 again here, which is a smaller number. So we will just put a 0 on top, but we will not write those steps. This step is not necessary, which we have done. So we'll just go for the next two numbers, we will take them together and we will divide. So now 59 is to be divided by 8. So that will be 7 times, right? We'll just write it here. Then we will subtract. So 3 remains. Then the next step is to check, is this smaller? Yes, it is smaller. The next step is to bring down the next number. The next number is 2. So now we got a 4 over here. 3, 8 4s are 32. And we subtract. And we got a 0 as the remainder. So here the quotient is 74 and the remainder is 0. Do you think this is easy, my children? This is the short method and this is the long method. Dear children, let's practice one more question. Here it is 241 to be divided by 4. Let's write in the long division form. The steps of long division: daddy, mummy, sister, brother. And here we have to take the hundreds place digit, which is 2. 2 is to be divided by 4. We can clearly make out that this 2 is smaller than 4. And when you see the dividend smaller than the divisor, we have to just go for 0 times. So we'll just write the 0 and we'll stop all the rest of the steps. Then we will go and take the next number by the side of 2. What is the next number by side of 2? It's 4. So the new number becomes 24. So this 24 is to be divided by 4. So my children, we will check out in table of 4 when 24. We can see that 4 5s are 20, it's too small. 4 7s are 20, it's too big. And we just got the correct number. 4 6 are 24, exact number. So we'll be taking this 6 time. We will write that 6 on top of 4 and then we will multiply. We'll multiply this 4 6 are. We will be getting 24 as the answer. We'll write it under 24. The next step is to subtract. Now we will subtract 24 minus 24. We get a 0. Then the next step is to bring down. So we bring down the next number, which is 1. So we'll just bring down this 1. And the new number becomes 1. And this new number has to be divided. And the rest all of the steps are to be repeated. Isn't it? That's the way we do it. So the 1 is to be divided by 4. We can clearly see that the dividend 1 is smaller than the divisor 4. And I told you we will not do anything. We'll just write a 0 and we'll forget about it. So we'll just do that. We'll write a 0 and we will forget about it. And there is any other number to bring down? No. So that means this sum is totally over and it has been done so easily. In just a few steps it is done. So what will be the quotient now? The quotient is 60 and the remainder is 1. Isn't it easy? The shortcut is easy, isn't it, my children? With practice you will get command on it and you will be doing it very happily and very easily, my children. So practice this shortcut method. Dear children, let's try to do this question. 704 to be divided by 7. Let's do it side by side, the long way as well as the short way, so that we can understand the difference clearly. So we have here 704, which is to be divided by 7. So 7 is at the hundreds place, which is the highest digit. So we will be dividing the 7 with 7. So you know that we can get it one time, right, my children? So the next step will be to multiply. So 7 ones are 7, we'll write it under 7. Then the next step after multiplying will be to subtract. So now we get 7 minus 7 as 0. Then the next step is to bring down. We bring down here a 0. So then we have to go for dividing step, right? We will repeat the steps. So the first step is to divide now. So this 0 has to be divided by 7. Naturally it will be 0 time only. So 7 zeros are 0, we will write, and then we will subtract it. Then we will get a 0. Okay. After subtraction we have to bring down. So next number to bring down will be the 4. So again we have to divide this. We have to repeat the steps, right? So 4 is to be divided by 7. We can clearly see that this 4 is smaller than the divisor. So again it will be 0 times. Isn't it, my children? So now 7 zeros are 0. Then the next step is to subtract. Now 4 minus 0 is 4 only. So is there any more number to bring down? No. So we stop. So the quotient becomes as 100 and the remainder becomes 4. This is the long way of doing. Let's do this in the short way. So how we will be doing it? Now again the first highest digit, that 7 is to be divided by 7. So it will be one time 7 to be divided by 7. So it will be 7 ones are 7. It's in one time only. So write that one on top, and then next step is to multiply. 7 ones are 7. Then the next step is to subtract. So we'll get a 0. Till here it is same as we have done in the long way. So the next step is to bring down this 0. So when you bring down the 0, you can clearly see that this 0, that is the dividend, is smaller than the divisor. I have told you that when you get a dividend smaller than the divisor, you put a 0 on top and you forget about the rest all steps. You don't do the rest all steps because that is not necessary. It will not help us, because again after doing all those steps, again you will be getting a 0. So now the next thing which you need to do is to drop the next number. What is the next number over here? Next number is 4. We will drop the 4. Again we see that this 4 is smaller than the 7. So this 4 dividend is smaller than the 7 divisor. So again we have to just go for 0. We'll just write a 0 and finish off. We will not do anything else. So we are done in just one step. 1.5 step, maybe we can say, isn't it? So we are done. So the quotient is the same, that is 100, and we need to write the remainder now. Remainder is 4. Dear children, let's start with our new example. Let's try this. I have a number 428 to be divided by 4. So let's do it in both the ways, that is long way and in the short way. So my children, we have the number 428, which is the dividend to be divided with the divisor 4. So what is needed to be done? This 4 is to be divided, which is the highest place number, which is at the hundreds place. So 4 is to be divided by 4. Now we will imagine these 4 apples, I want to put it in groups. So how many groups I can put it in? So this 4 has to be divided by 4. So it will be one time, isn't it? One group of 4 I can make. So that one I will be writing on top. Then next step is to multiply. 4 ones are 4. Correct? Now the next step is to subtract. So 4 minus 4 is 0. Then the next step is to bring down this 2. The new number has become 2. So now this 2 has to be divided by 4. We can clearly see that this 2 is very much smaller than 4, and it will not go in 4 table. It will be only 0 times. Correct, my children? So we have to go for the 0 step. So here we will be putting a 0. 4 zeros are 0. We will write it here. Then we will subtract. So which will give us a 2. Then the next step is to bring down. We bring down this 8. So the new number become 28. Now we have to divide this 28 by 4. So in 4 table we will be checking how many groups of 4 can we make with the help of 28 apples. So we will go with 4 6 are 24, right, my children? Now 4 into 7, 4 sevens are 28. Exact number we got. So it will be 7 times. So let us write that 7 on top and we multiply next. So 4 sevens are 28. Then next step is to subtract. So that will give us a 0. Now let's try the short method. In the short method, again we need to do the same. The first step will be 4 is to be divided by 4. That will be one time. So 4 ones are 4. Now the next step is to subtract. So 4 minus 4 is 0. Then the next step is to bring down the 2. Now we have seen clearly that 2 to be divided by 4 will give us a 0. So we'll just put a 0, but we'll not do all those steps here that are not needed. We'll just put the 2 and write on top 0, finish. We'll not take the step. So then we will go to the next number and we will drop that number. So that will make our new number as 28. Now 28 is to be divided by 4. We already know it is 4 sevens are 28. So we'll just take a 7 over here. So and we will write a 28 under it and then subtract. So we got a 0. So quotient is 107 and remainder is 0.